All right, the first round of the NFL draft just wrapped up, and I'm going through giving you my quick reactions, my day one grades for every team throughout the divisions. I'm going to go division by division, just give you a quick little rundown what I thought of the pick, what they did. Now, this isn't just the pick itself. Did you trade up? What was the value on the board? It goes all into my personal grade, but let's just hop into it. My first division, AFC East. Let's go. Patriots on the board at number 3. I'm going to give the Patriots a B+. Took Drake May out of North Carolina, the quarterback. I like this guy. Drake May was my second overall quarterback. I had him ahead of Daniels. He's a freak kind of build, 6'4", hose of an arm. Absolutely love his intangibles. Does he got to work on his accuracy? Yes. I think the Patriots need to put a supporting cast around him, which they do not have. I think they would have been better trading out of that pick or trying to get some sort of assets here for that spot, because they really are a desolate team when it comes to the skill position. They have a lot to do. Okay, the Dolphins, I'm giving the Dolphins a B. Dolphins taking Chop Robinson out of Penn State. Solid all-around pass rusher. Dolphins were kind of in a weird spot. There was a lot of talk the Dolphins were trying to move back, possibly acquire some more picks. They got decimated on the defensive front this free agency. So this is a solid guy. I think Chop Robinson was okay. I think there was some better value on the board for the Dolphins at 23, but or at 21. But all in all, decent pick. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Okay, the Jets, a B+. Gonna give the Jets a B+. I like what the Jets did. They had pick number 10. They slid back one spot, traded with the Vikings. They take Olu Fashanu out of Penn State, one of the best tackles. I had him a little bit lower than some other people, but I still think all in all, what they got to slide back just one spot, still get the tackle that they had identified, obviously, as the guy they wanted at number 10. Third tackle off the board. Good pick for them. I think that's solid all around for the Jets. All right, and the Bills, I'm giving the Bills an F. What a disaster for the Bills. On the clock at 28, have potential wide receivers. What do? They trade with the Kansas City Chiefs and essentially don't really get anything in return. They slide up 38 spots and swap 7th round picks, or with that, to go from 28 to 32, and you allow your biggest rival in conference to pick a wide receiver. And then when they were sitting at 32, they trade back again out of the first round because Ricky Parasol gets drafted at 31. That clearly seems like the guy that they probably wanted to take at 31. And then another wide receiver goes at 32, who would they trade it with the Panthers. So a team that needed a wide receiver ends up trading back twice, and 3 receivers get drafted in place of them. Just a horrible, horrible draft for the Bills. F. Okay, the NFC West now. I think the NFC West had an okay day. The Cardinals on the clock at number 4 take Marvin Harrison Jr. I like that pick. Best receiver. Is there limited upside? Potentially. Is there some off the field stuff that I don't know. I don't love with Marvin Harrison Jr. He doesn't sign his like NFLPA, so you can't even buy his jerseys. Like a basic ass contract that's like, cut and paste. Everybody signs it. So that's a little weird. Didn't love their pick at 27, Darius Robinson out of Missouri, kind of an edge rusher, might play inside technique. I felt like there was other pass rushers on the board. Newton out of Illinois, I felt like is a better interior tackle if you wanted to go with that. I'm not quite sure. There was really good defensive talent in this draft. You could have went corner. There's so many good corners available. Didn't love all in all from the Cardinals. So B+ for the Cardinals. All right, Seahawks at 16 take Byron Murphy II out of Texas, defensive tackle. Best defensive tackle on the board. Give this pick an A. It's a solid pick. 16's about where he was going. Some people had him higher. Some people had him lower. I think this was a perfect spot for him. Really helped shore up that defensive interior. We know what they're going to do. A whole new system in Seattle. No more Pete Carroll. Bringing over a Baltimore Ravens type defense. And you think Ravens, you think pass rush, you think defense. Justin Madubuike in the middle for the Ravens. Good fit. Really excellent player. Like this pick a lot. I'm giving the Seahawks an A. Okay, the Rams right after them at 19. I'm giving the Rams an A-. Jared Verse, a lot of people were split on Verse. I had Verse in my top 15 players. I think I had him at 15 on my big board. So this is good value for this pick. There was some rumors the Rams could move up for a quarterback. All in all, I think this is a solid pick. A- for the Rams. You get a pass rusher They have some good pass rushers from last year, some good young guys. They're going to mix and match some things around. Jared Verse was kind of a divisive pass rusher for the people. Some people really liked him. Some people really hated him. I thought he was good enough. I'm giving the Rams an A minus. And finally, I'm giving the 49ers a B. Pick at 31. You take Ricky Pearsall out of Florida, wide receiver. I like Pearsall. I think it was a little high. I thought there was some better wide receivers on the board. A.D. Mitchell out of Texas, I really like. Xavier Leggett from South Carolina, who went a pick after him, I also have a little bit higher. But this is a very shocking sign that says maybe Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuels are not long for this 49ers cast, and it could be up in the air for them. Maybe they just want to add some more depth, but kind of a confusing pick as far as things were concerned. Could have went DB here. Still some good DBs on the board. Cooper DeJean out of Iowa, Kool-Aid McKinstry from Bama. So I'm going to give the Niners a B because I do think Pearsall is a solid player. It's just kind of a weird fit and a troubling sign if you're a Niners fan. Okay, AFC South, I'm going to give the Titans a C plus here. You got to feel gutted if you're a Titans fan. Looked like there was going to be no competition to get Joe Alt. The Chargers snap him up. They go with J.C. Latham out of Alabama at 7. He is a titan of a human being, literally. But kind of a reach for me. I didn't have J.C. Latham in my top 4 tackles. Gonna play him at right tackle probably. Maybe he plays left tackle. I don't know what they're trying to do. They needed offensive line out. They needed another tackle. They have some stability there, but I just felt like this was a big reach for the Titans. And Joe Alt, I think, could be a Hall of Famer. J.C. Latham, I don't know about that. So C plus for the Titans. Colts getting a B plus. Latu, the first defensive player taken in this draft at number 15, Latu out of UCLA. There are some injury concerns. He's been medically cleared. He had a disastrous injury history. I think this is a good fit. You know, the Colts could use some more pass rush. Pass rush was maybe the best part of their defense last year, but you can never have enough pass rush. Maybe would I have preferred to get another corner? The top corners were still here, but the corners ended up free falling. So a solid pick overall. I prefer Dallas Turner out of Alabama. He was my number 1 defensive player, but Latu was not far behind him. I think they were about 2 spots apart on my big board. So solid pick for the Colts. Jags, I'm going to give the Jags an A minus. Jags traded back from pick 17 with my Vikings to pick number 23. They pick up some good assets. They pick up a 5th round this year. They pick up a 3rd and a 4th next year. So quality haul to slide back 6 spots. Not too bad. They go with wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU. You lose Calvin Ridley this year. You just need to get some weapons for Trevor Lawrence. I think this is a solid pick. I liked him. He was definitely my 4th receiver out of all these receivers we've had. I like Thomas a lot. He's kind of overshadowed by how good Neighbors was, but this is a solid pick. You pair him with Christian Kirk. You just got to make Trevor work. You got to get this thing going. And I like the haul that they got back. They didn't get too much, but they got some solid value, especially in next year's draft, the 3rd and the 4th next year. Very solid overall, like that. And then finally, the Texans getting an NA. They traded their 1st round pick to the Vikings a month ago, 2 months ago. I can't even remember what it was. They got an NA. No grade for them. They didn't pick tonight, and I think they got fair value for what they got. They're picking early 2nd round tomorrow, and they pick up a 2nd next year. So solid. Okay, the NFC North, spoiler alert, a monster draft for this division. First up, the Bears with Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze at pick 1 and 9. I thought the Bears might go defense at 9 with Dallas Turner still on the board, but I have no qualms about taking Odunze. I think Keenan Allen's more of a rental. A plus for the Bears. I don't think you could have done much better. Maybe Malik Neighbors, who I had them in my mock draft, would have been a better sliding to them, but I cannot complain. I'd be ecstatic if I'm a Bears fan. Now, if any franchise can screw this up offensively, it's the Chicago Bears, but that streak of no 4,000-yard passer, no 30-plus touchdowns from a quarterback doesn't seem long for this franchise. Bears, A+. Next, my Vikings. Vikings stay put, essentially, at 11. They trade up 1 spot to 10 to get J.J. McCarthy. They hold on to their 25 first-round pick, and they hold on to pick number 23, which we'll talk about later. I like J.J. McCarthy. I think he's in a perfect situation. He's a young guy. He gets to sit behind Sam Darnold this season, does not need to play, can learn the offense. KOC seems to be a quarterback whisperer, kind of knows his quarterbacks. Not only that, he's a born leader, true winner, and he's an excellent athlete. I think it gets slept on how good he is with his athleticism. And you say Michigan didn't lean on him to do stuff, but in the biggest games when he had to go do something, he balled out. Love that pick. And then they traded up to 17 to go get Dallas Turner. I almost did a backflip looking when the Vikings got this pick. He was my best defensive player in the draft. Like I said with the Jags, they didn't give up too much to the Jags to go get him. I'm okay with giving up those picks. My Vikings also coming in with an A-plus draft. I think you cannot be happier if you were a Vikings fan. Maybe if you were all in on Drake May, but getting these two guys versus one quarterback, I think is a stud move. Great draft for them. And then the Lions at 24. Lions trade up from 29 to 24. They get my second corner. He was in the top 15. I think I had him 14 on my big board. Terrion Arnold out of Alabama. Excellent, excellent pick. The Lions have been crushing it with Holmes and my man Dan at the helm. They are really, really building a great team up there. Now they're going to have run into some cap issues here coming up. What's Jared Goff as your quarterback? The window is now, and I think this upgrades a massive, massive need for the Lions. A+ for the Lions. NFC North crushing it. And then at 25, the Packers take Jordan Morgan, the tackle out of Arizona. Kind of a whatever pick, man. I thought Tyler Guyton was better than Morgan. Morgan's solid. He was a fringe first-round guy. I'm all for taking a tackle to help protect Jordan Love, but I'm going to give the Packers a C on this one. If you watch the draft, you saw their fans' reactions. They weren't ecstatic with it. Overall, Packers big losers and a huge night for the NFC North. Okay, AFC North time. I got the Bengals at 18. They took Amarius Mims out of Georgia. Mims was a solid tackle. I had him between Guyton and Morgan on my big board. I think this is a good, okay pick. I've given it a B. You need to help protect Joe Burrow. You gotta upgrade your offensive line. It's always an issue. He's getting banged up left and right. Keep Joe healthy. Keep Joe happy. It's a big thing. I think they could have done better maybe going with defensive line, but I think once Murphy came off the board at 16, this was probably the logical decision to go tackle. I'm okay here. Maybe you could have traded back, but the tackles were flying all over the place. So B overall for the Bengals. Steelers on the board at 20. They take Troy Fautanu out of Washington. I butchered that. I like him. I had Fautanu as one of my I think I have my second tackle. Solid pick. A- for the Steelers. I think this is great value for them. He's instantly going to come in. They're going to help upgrade their offensive line. Their offensive line has really kind of been a shit show for the last few years. It's been getting better, and it really hasn't produced a lot. They run the football. We have Justin Fields. We got Russell Wilson. We don't know what we got at quarterback. But in a safe spot, you stay at 20. You get a very good offensive tackle. Could play guard. Might play right tackle. A lot of people are kind of all over the place. But he's a really solid guy. A true road grader also. Good in run blocking. Solid in pass protection. Needs some work for his size. But I like this pick overall. A-. Okay, the Ravens picking at 30. They get an A. I like this. Get Nate Wiggins, the corner out of Clemson. Solid all-around draft for him. He's a decent corner. There's not many holes on this Ravens team. All the tackles have been scooped up. I thought they potentially could go tackle, but with them not on the board, let's just upgrade at a position of need. Nate Wiggins is a really solid guy. He's blazing fast. Really showed off his speed at Clemson. Had a kick 6 in the ACC championship game a couple years ago. Solid overall pick. A for the Ravens. And then the Browns, Deshaun Watson, LOL. Okay, the NFC South with the biggest shock of the draft. The first shock, there was a few shocks, but Atlanta Falcons at 8, taking Michael Penix Jr., F-. This pick is an F- for the Falcons. When you are this close, it feels like the Falcons are close. You just signed Kirk Cousins to a 4-year deal, $100 million plus guaranteed, fully guaranteed, and you spend the 8th overall pick on a guy who I thought was clearly the 5th best quarterback in this draft. He's a decent guy, but Penix just doesn't even make sense for this. J.J. McCarthy's on the board. He's the guy who could be the heir apparent to Kirk Cousins. Once he's down, you sit a couple years, maybe Kirk's not going to be ready. Penix feels like a guy who's a short term. He's ready to go now. He's going to be 24 years old. He's got the knees of a 50-year-old, and he's just going to huck it and chuck it as fast as he possibly can for as long as he possibly can. I don't know if Penix is going to have a long career, but he feels like the most ready of the non-top tier quarterbacks to come in and just get starts, maybe pump out some wins. So what a bizarre pick for the Falcons. F-. Saints on the clock at 14. Talisi Fuaga from Oregon State. Offensive tackle, A pick for the Saints. I hate the Saints, but great pick for them. Perfect guy. I think this is who I had them taking in my mock draft. Really, really solid overall. Right tackle is a bruiser. Really good run blocking draft class for him. I like him a lot. Showed off his athleticism at the combine. Great pick all around. A for the Saints. Okay, Tampa Bay on the clock at, God, where the Bucks picking? Bucks picked at 26. Graham Barton, the center out of Duke. Good pick for them. Tampa Bay needed to upgrade their interior offensive line. Barton could play center. Barton could play guard. He was originally out there as a tackle, I believe, when he came out. Moved inside, was solid all around. I think this is a good pick for Tampa Bay at 26. Kind of an awkward spot for them. Giving Tampa an A- here. I think they address a position of need, help protect Baker, help keep that offense going. Could they have went defense? Could they have went secondary here? Possibly, but I got no complaints with this pick. I had him off my board much sooner than this, so A- for the Bucks. And then a surprise, the Panthers trading out of the top end of the second round at the end of the first round. They go with Xavier Leggett out of South Carolina. I'm giving the Panthers a B here. They slid up one spot. Even clearly the Bills didn't want him, so you could have had him at 33, first pick tomorrow. But you need to get weapons for Bryce Young. You spent a lot of money on the offensive line in this offseason. You need to see if Bryce Young works. So let's give it a go. Leggett's okay. I still think A.D. Mitchell is better in my opinion. I thought he would be better there, but I can't complain. You know, you got a receiver for your quarterback. Maybe you didn't need to trade up, so B for the Panthers. Okay, the AFC West, the Chargers on the clock at 5, desperately tried to get out of that pick. There was all this talk they were open for business. Price too steep, I guess, so they go with the best tackle available. They go with Joe Alt out of Notre Dame. Love this pick. This is the most Jim Harbaugh pick if there's ever been a Jim Harbaugh pick. I guess they're going to move Slater to right tackle. 6'9", mountain of a man. I think he's got Hall of Fame potential in Alt. I think he's going to be excellent for them. Chargers zigging while everyone's zagging. High-powered finesse offenses in the AFC West. Chargers are going to turn into mean, nasty road graders. I love it. I don't know what Justin Herbert's going to do for you at quarterback because you don't have anybody to throw it to him, but he's a glorified handoff guy. If you couldn't get out of this pick, I love the pick. Take Joe Alt. Don't reach on a different position to try and make it work. We'll move it around. Alt A pick. Okay, Denver at number 12, there was a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation. They do end up taking the 6th out of the 6 quarterbacks taken. They take Bo Nix. I'm assuming they were trying to trade up to 10 to take J.J. McCarthy. They go with Bo Nix. I'm giving it a D. It's not a great pick. Bo Nix feels like a backup to me. Highly accurate. He's 27 million years old at this point. He's an ancient guy. He was awful at Auburn. I just can't get the Auburn tape out of my mind. He was solid in Oregon. Does he fit that Drew Brees model? Kind of. Highly accurate on short, intermediate routes. It just felt like this was so high to take him. Maybe you think the Raiders are taking him at 13, but I feel like they could have got him at the end of the first round. I don't think anybody was scrambling to go get Bo Nix off the board. So Denver, a D. Sean Payton, the highest drafted quarterback for him. Let's see how it works, Denver. Broncos country, let's ride. Raiders at 13 right after them. They go with Brock Bowers. Maybe they were a little flustered that Penix wasn't on the board, or I don't know what. They go with the tight end. They just took Michael Mayer with a high draft pick last year. Giving the Raiders an A- though. Brock Bowers is a stud, the best offensive player on the board. They're getting an impact, immediate playmaker. Line up out at the slot. Really help it out. They still don't have a quarterback, so we got to figure that out, Vegas. But I like Bowers. He's just a dog. You know, maybe he goes to disappear like Devontae, but I think this really helps this offense out a lot. A- pick for the Raiders. Finally, the Chiefs. Chiefs trade up from 32 to 28 with the Bills. Can't believe the Bills still did that. Good God. I like this pick. They take Xavier Worthy out of Texas. This is who I had them mocked to at 32. So maybe it's a little bit of a reach, but they essentially gave up nothing. They slid down 38 spots in the third round to go get this pick, or into the fourth round. They were in the third round. I think they're going into the fourth round now with that pick. Whatever. Love this pick for the Chiefs. You get an elite burner, record-setting speed. You add to the playmakers. Rashid Rice is going to be suspended multiple games probably. A+ pick for the Chiefs. I think this is the perfect scheme fit. You give them yourselves another weapon. Excellent pick. Okay, and finally, the NFC East. Commanders at number 2, they take Jaden Daniels. I'm giving this an A-. I think this is a good pick. Jaden Daniels was my third quarterback. I like Drake May more, but we'll see if Cliff Kingsbury can keep him upright, keep him protected. My biggest concern is the injury with Jaden. He's $195 when he plays, soaking wet, thin, frail frame, and he's talking about how he wants to be the greatest running quarterback ever. Bro, you can run when you have to. Throw the football. You're going to break, young man. But A- pick because I still think he is a very good quarterback prospect. And if they get it to work, Washington might finally have a quarterback. It's been since Kirk Cousins they've had any competent play. I guess maybe a little bit of Alex Smith, but he was on his last leg, literally and figuratively, before he went down. So Jaden Daniels, all the hope in the world for Commanders fans. Giants at 6. I'm giving the Giants an A. They don't take the bait. They don't take McCarthy at 6. I think that would have been a little bit of a reach for McCarthy. They go with Malik Neighbors. Excellent, excellent pick for them. He's an elite wide receiver. We know their luck with LSU wide receivers in New York, IEC, OBJ, but he's got Tyreek Hill 2.0 written all over him on his top end, and not just fast, elite kind of guy, can develop into a complete wide receiver. Now, the big city might be a little bit of a concern. There are some question marks there, but overall, go get an elite receiver. You desperately need a playmaker. I know Daniel Jones sucks, but you can figure out the quarterback when you figure out the quarterback. A pick for the Giants. At pick number 22, we got your Philadelphia Eagles. Philly. I can't believe the Eagles did this. How do they keep getting away with this? They can't keep getting away with this. Pick number 22, my number 1 corner off the board. Quinion Mitchell, the corner out of Toledo. Address a major hole on this team. They had the worst secondary in football the back half of the season. He was an elite player. He played at a small school, had an awesome game against Ohio State. Marvin Harrison Jr. was excellent at the Senior Bowl, so he showed he can be that type of player, and the Eagles didn't have to trade up. They stayed put. Just an A+ overall for the Eagles. And finally, how about them Cowboys? Cowboys slide back from 24 with the Lions. They do pick up an extra third, which I like. They go to 29. I would have really liked them to take Barton out of Duke at 24, but they end up going with Tyler Guyton, who I had them mocked to out of Oklahoma, the tackle. They needed to address the tackle and the interior offensive line. They get the tackle. This isn't a wowie pick for a team that said they were all in. I give it a B-. You know, I know Cowboy fans aren't going to be happy with it. It was the right pick, but it's just not a great pick, you know, and we'll see what they do tomorrow. I think tomorrow is where they have the biggest potential to have, you know, a huge day with those extra picks, and they need to get something going or Cowboy fans are going to lose hope. So that's going to do it for us. I'll give you my top 3 drafts of day 1. I'm going to give you my number 1 draft to the Eagles. Going to give the Eagles my first spot. I'll give the Lions 2, and I'll go Bears 3, and I'd put my Vikings 4. That's your top 4, 3, 4 right there. Those are my 4th. And you know what? Let's give you a number 5. I'll go the Saints number 5. I think Fuaga was a great pick for them. So we'll go with the Saints as my number 5 pick. Actually, I can't do that. I got the Chiefs an A+. Give me the Chiefs as my number 5. I forgot I had the Chiefs at an A+. Chiefs number 5. Saints, you know, right there at 6. I think they were my second highest A. Could have been an A+. Excellent fit for them. I really like that Saints pick. So, yeah, that's going to do it for us. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. How did your team do? What did they do? Are you excited about your picks? What do you think? If you haven't already, drop a quick like on this video. Subscribe to the channel. We got daily sports content every single day. If you want to support the channel more, sign up for a channel membership. You get access to exclusive videos, early access to videos. Help support me. Allows me to keep making this great content for you guys every single day. Again, like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.